Good morning, everybody. Forgot to take that off. There we go. Hello. Good morning to Philippa and Gail, Michelle, Sue. Hi, Veronica. Lovely to have you guys here with me today. Wow, looking at the screen, looks like there might be some lag happening. Hopefully it's not too bad. Somebody give me a sound check. Let me know you can hear me okay. Hi, Jackie. Oh, snowy Michigan. It's really windy here in California today. Let's make a little swap on my cameras. There we go. Hey, Care, thread, needle, scissors. Care or Kate? Okay, sounds good. Thank you. I appreciate the sound check. Care, thank you. Welcome. Hello. Snowing in northern Indiana too. Wow. Let's see. Yeah, I can tell by looking at the screen there's a lag. We're not downloading anything here, so it's just going to be one of those days, I guess. I will try and leave some quiet time in between anything that I'm asking. I'm going to work on this thing today. I want to finish it off. Okay, Karen without the N. So Care. Thread, needle, scissors is Care. Welcome. I don't know if I've seen you here before, and if not, we are so happy you joined us. Let us know what kind of stuff you enjoy doing. I'm guessing from your name, you are a fellow fabric and stitch lover. Hey, Joanne. Hi, Lori. So I want to finish things off, and that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know where Terry is. That's a surprise. She's probably lost in work, knowing her. Hi, Lisa. Welcome. I think you might be new to me. If not, if you've been a secret squirrel, we are happy to have you here. So I'm trying to decide, do I need many more knots or anything else, or am I going to just do beads? This is going to be a vessel. And I decided to lean into all the red. And so I've got this needle threaded. I might as well do some more knots, right? And I got some new threads from, I guess I could zoom this one in a little bit, from DMC. And I had forgotten that I had ordered some new variegated threads. So let's see if we zoom this in a little more. That's pretty good. Let me know if you need me to zoom in more. Kitty Cat made it live. Hope you can stay all the way too. You've stopped by a couple times before. Okay, Lisa. Well, we're happy to have you back. Happy to have you back. I'm trying to tell myself I'm in finish mode, but I keep getting ideas on moving forward. So I don't know. Hey, Lori, how are you doing today? Oh, this might have been why I stopped doing much on this one, is because I had it so thick. That's okay. It's okay. I'm just all about the texture here today. I've got so many different things going on with projects, and I just can't seem to get into the finish mode. So I have to give myself permission and say, it's okay. If what I want to do is start new projects and explore new ideas on those projects, then that's what I'm going to do. So Thread, Needle, Scissors says fabric lover, bookbinding, traveler's journal, slow stitching, sister, and supplies. And oh, you crochet too. Wow. I love it. I love it. Well, you are amongst like-minded folks here for sure. Definitely. Hi, Vicki. I'm going to send you a message on Facebook later, because I think you and I do not connect on email for some reason. Yeah, this is actually like an interesting blue-green, and it happened. So I kind of made it a little bit more green. This happened when I was mixing some old India ink bottles. I would just like mix the water in. Hey, Kat, you popped in for a little bit. Glad to see you here. And I just, added water to the bottles that were mostly dried out, and then dumped whatever was left into a tub. And this is like a terracotta and greens and blues empty bottle thing. All right, I'm just going to kind of use this thread up. I remember now why I decided to move on to beads. I love the size of a project to work on. So tell me what is going on in everybody's world today. Who's doing what? Are you finishing things? Are you starting new things? It looks blue on the screen. Yeah, it does. I'm looking at it now. It looks blue. I don't know if that helps at all, but it's a great color. They go really good together, but it definitely is in person a little bit more green. I tried even on the oh, do I have autofocus on? Wait a minute, let me go turn that off so I don't make anybody dizzy, because it makes me crazy to have the autofocus going in and out. I do. There we go. We'll turn that off, and I don't have it there. All right, I don't want to make anybody dizzy. Hey, June, how are you doing today? I was thinking about you the other day, and your attention to detail on your sculptures is just amazing. So here's my question for you guys today, at least the first question I have for you. What is a craft or technique or an art? Oh, not getting much stitching done on a pain day. I'm sorry, Gail. And wait a minute, I missed houses. Michelle's doing little houses to go on cards. Philippa is supposed to be painting the new back fence, but the chat is more important. I love it. I love it. Kat says, I also make jewelry and I try to sort beads for the fabric hobby, but it's hard. I have so many. What sizes of beads do you use? Well, a lot of my beads that are larger like this have been recycled from jewelry that I got at the thrift store. And then when I go to my smaller ones, I splurged recently and bought a variety of beads in a couple of sizes so that I could figure out what I liked best. And so for me, an 11 is the smallest bead that I can go to. I really like 8s and 10s with the Delica and the bugles, the smaller bugles. I need to have something that's not so small that I can't get my needle threader through it. So through the needle so that I can get it through the bead. Thread Needle Scissors says, I love that size too. I recently purchased an 11 by 14 frame at the Dollar Tree that I plan on painting and doing a slow stitch for. It's a doable size. Yeah, it feels like you can get it done. You know, I've got a few big projects and I was trying to finish a project for a class and I said, you know what, I'm working too big. So I started a new one that's going to be very small. Veronica started a new doodle cloth, so now I'm obsessed with fly stitch. I'm obsessed with that stitch too. You can cover a lot of ground and then you can go back and add stuff. Joanne says, I'm giving myself a facial and I don't have my glasses. Forgive the typos. You did fine, Joanne. Is the purple piece done? No, it's not. I just, I go back and forth with the lives and you guys can give me some input. I try to give you variety so that you're not seeing the same piece over and over again. And since I had several videos plus a couple of lives with the purple, I figured I would do something else. But maybe people would rather see the purple, you know, see something from start to finish. So maybe I'll try that as I finish up these other projects. I'll try going start to finish so you can see things. I just don't want people to get bored. This is the fly stitch. I'm sorry. This is kind of like the fly stitch. It's just the V. So you can have them connected. So you could have them in a straight chain, a crooked chain, or you can have them individual. I don't have anything here, I don't think. No, I don't have any of my doodle cloths here that would have the fly stitch on it, but it's basically just a V. It's a nice way to cover a lot of ground, although feather stitch is still my first one. Oh, you didn't want to miss seeing it. Okay. You didn't miss it. And, you know, when I finish a project, then I always do a final video. Oh, Lori, I love it. I dare say most of us would watch paint dry. Yeah, I think when we gather at somebody's live, it's not just mine, it's anybody's live that we enjoy, because we're all interested in the same sorts of things. It's wonderful to gather with friends and just be able to chat or ask questions. You know, if they're working on something that we've never done before. I saw that Carol McDonald did she'd made her own thread. I guess she spins or something. I don't know. Whoops, that's not going to go through there very easily. Here we go. And she was doing some needle lace. I think that's what it was, because she had like or bobbin lace. She had the bobbins hanging down, and I'm looking at that thinking, oh, I want to try that. You're learning the feather stitch, and I love it. Yeah, I do. I enjoy that too. But, you know, you can go watch something like that, and then, you know, you can ask questions, but you can also just hang out with your friends. I mean, I always liken it to being at a coffee shop with friends. Bobbin lace. Thank you, Gail. I thought that's what it was. So you would need to have the tools for it, I guess. But yeah, it's probably a rabbit hole I'm going to fall down one of these days. Veronica said, hubby stopped by and called it a V-stitch for my name. Yeah. Good morning, Barbara. So yesterday, Carol was doing needle lace step 1. Friday morning, she'll work with more bobbins to do a real design. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I don't know. It might be more patience than I'm willing to do right now. Good evening, Fiona. Yeah, just watching paint dry. Yep. But, you know, when you're hanging with your friends at the coffee shop, you don't necessarily have to be doing anything. You're just hanging out, having your chai latte or your double mocha or whatever your favorite drink of choice is. Oh, there I go, doing it again where I have hardly anything left. I'll just do one knot and get to some beads. So I need suggestions for something. I would love to hear some suggestions from you guys on what you do with charms that aren't going on dangles for journals. I went crazy years ago and bought so many charms. I'm trying to figure out some other things I can do with them. Barbara said she demonstrated it using clothespins for the bobbins. Anne was taking the clothespins apart to make bobbins. I'm definitely going to. Oh, nice. Okay, I have to go watch the rest of it. I just was looking at the still pictures on Facebook. Sue says, I'm resting after hanging quilts and photographing them. Oh, that's exhausting. I agree. All right, beads. Should probably start with the larger ones. And I need to decide what I might want to do. Sue says, I love using charms on my slow stitch pieces. Yeah, I should have brought some out so I could talk about them with you guys. I think one of the things I was having trouble with, do I have anything? Okay. Is so many of the ones I have are silver, and I'm trying to decide how I feel about silver on the different things. June says, yesterday I was live doing polymer clay hands. No one in the chat group sculpts, but I think we had a fun time. At least I did. Yeah, I need to, I've got some air dry clay that I've never played with. I've had it for a couple of years, and I want to see if I can make the shells that I see in the UK, and my friend in Portugal can get them on the beach. They're everywhere. I think they're a limpet shell, and they have these curved sides, and they always have this big hole in the center, and they look beautiful stitched down on fabric, but I can't find them here in the US. So I was thinking I might try to see if I could make some. Michelle said you can make a wire frame on a project and hang a charm. Yeah. But I mean, we're talking hundreds. I mean, I probably need to put some in the shop, but we're talking hundreds. Barbara made a bunch of earrings. Oh, good, with the polymer clay. Fun. Yeah, Kat, and there's just so many. There's just so many. I like the bronze colored ones better. Yeah, color them with alcohol ink. That would be a good idea. And then they could blend in better with the piece. Barbara said, I used to get charm sorts of things to make into earrings. Yeah. Yeah, I would literally, I have one of my bead boxes, which has like 24 things, 24 divisions in it. And I think it's all filled. One of them is just all filled with charms. Yeah, Michelle, and they're all over the UK and other areas in Europe, but not around here. All right, I need to think which way is up. All right, I do think this is the bottom. You need more charms. You've been using your inventory. Okay, so I should put some in the shop is what you're saying. Kind of want to do try and do the big ones first. And there's no rhyme or reason. I just want to get some bling in here. But I think these guys might be too big. So I think they should be pretty easy to sculpt. And I don't even care if they don't have the lines on the side, because I like the effect when you have the threads, coming up. But, it'd be easy enough to put the lines in the side. Just take a piece of cardboard or something to mark it up. Bead decision should not be hard. Oh, I was going to use these. I forgot I had these. Doggone it. These are back in the studio. All right, I may need to go get these. I forgot I was going to use those. Or maybe I'll just start with the small ones. Okay, well, I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to start with the small ones, and then I'm going to come back because I remember I had pulled a bunch of these to use in here because it's a perfect color, and I have a whole bunch of them from a necklace at Goodwill. All right, so voila. Full body horse charms. I might have a couple. I'll have to look. I have tons of bees, tons of birds, tons of butterflies in silver. And yeah, bees, birds, butterflies. That's okay. You'll wait. I'll go ahead and work on these little ones first. Hey, there's Sandy. Let's see what we can do. I just need to start. This is why I put off doing beads for so long. It's like, oh, where am I going to go? I was working on the encrusted piece last night and was adding some beads to that, and then realized I really needed to finish all the knots. I was getting ahead of myself. Okay, what did I do? I picked up the one thing that doesn't have a hole in it. That's too funny. Oh, these are funky beads. Okay, these must have been some of the cheap beads I got from somewhere. The holes are not in the center, so I need to aim differently. All right, so I will put some beads together to put in the shop. And I will check June for horse beads. I didn't get a bunch of them, I know, but they might have come in some packets that I had bought. What I like about beads, when you're using the same color, boy, these are more like a drop, I guess. There's probably a name for them. They just add a little pop of bling, that'll show up, and maybe not as much on camera, but when it's all done and photographed. I don't know that these little guys are going to do as well. Let me see. Did I miss anything? Ooh, those are little beads. I should probably, I'm not good at beading. It's not something I do a lot of. So, I would love to get any tips anybody has as far as, I guess I should just go get watch some beading videos. I don't normally like it when I put a bunch together. Yeah, just a little bit of sparkle without being metallic. And sometimes I like the metallic, but on these, I just want the light to catch them. Yeah, carmine red. That's a beautiful carmine red. Hi, Barbie. Sandy said, I volunteered to take someone to a doctor appointment, really playing Move the Cheese. Oh, is it Big Daddy or one of the grandkids? Let's see here. And they get stuck. Oh, and I reminded everybody, please make sure that you are in live chat and not top chat. Yeah, I should probably start doing that, Philippa. She says, I always stitch beads down twice to make them sit better. Let's see. Okay, I like using those little ones like that. Wow, when I realized using these are 11s, I think. Oh, someone in need in the community. He had nobody to help him. Oh, I love all the different textures with the stitching they give. Yeah, June, that's my thing too. It's all about the texture, right? So I filled all my bead boxes and then had to order, just threw this one, had to order more of my little, containers. And I actually think that the next time I reorder on some of these sizes, I'm going to order multiple packs because really it looks like a lot of beads, but I can probably use most of this just on here. Oh, Marjorie, well, I'm sorry your plan was canceled, but happy to have you join us. Snow all over the place. My mom in Arizona said she had snow yesterday, and she's not up in the high country. I really need to get better at finishing things so that my ideas go forward. Because what I'm finding is if I'm not finishing something, while I'm working on it, by the time I get back to it, I've hopefully grown some artistically or learned something new, and I want to do something differently. So I'm hoping as I finish these other projects, I'm in finish mode. Well, almost in finish mode. February is going to be finished February. Let's see. I want one more on there. So tell me, what is something that you haven't done artistically, craft-wise, that you've been thinking one of these days, I want to give this a try? You don't need to have the supplies yet, but it's just one of those things you want to give it a try. Oh, the plane you were on to visit your son in Victoria and you can't, oh, that's not good. Going to see family is that's like the best. Barbara said, I still have an entire supply of seed beads and a lot of the ones just a little bigger. I always call them pony beads, but I think that's wrong. I made one small quilted beaded piece. Yeah, I had looked them up and wasn't sure. I don't remember what they were called too, but they are something different than the pony beads. No, are they the rondelles or something like that? Sandy wants to try the encrusted embroidery. It's addicting. It is really addicting. I have tons of seed beads and they aren't my favorite to work with. I like going up just a little, I have like a lot of the 11s, but the 10s, which are a different, I think that might be the Delica, which I really like. Basket weaving, says Marjorie. I have a basket weaving class that I have not finished and I really want to get back to it. Lori says, well, now bobbin lace. Thank you, Carol McDonald. Yeah, she's an enabler, isn't she? Michelle wants to try the encrusted. Joanne wants to paint fabric and laces. Yeah, bobbin lace. Yeah, go take a look at what they did. It was, like I said, I only was looking at the stills on Carol's page, but I'm going to go back and watch the video. He was the one I knew somebody had mentioned a beading person. So you took a class with Tom Atkins, and he quilts with beads in it, on it. And it was fun and have great notes from the class. Sandy, encrusted embroidery. Go back and look at my last 2 videos. I don't have it handy. Oh, what the heck? I can grab that one real quick. This is encrusted. Barbie said, my goddaughter is preggers with her 4th. She's due any day now. She got snowed in at her house with 3 littles, and her husband couldn't get home. She lives way, way out in the country. Oh my goodness. We were terrified, but still no baby. Encaustic, said Lori. Oh, wow. Marjorie wants to try the bobbin lace. Philippa says, making cordage from natural stuff. Next, trying rhubarb. Oh, rhubarb should be great. Thank you, guys. It's getting there. But I started to add some beads to get some sparkle and realized I really need to finish filling in all the pieces. I kind of know where I'm going to go with finishing it off. And that was kind of a big thing for me. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, everybody. Sue. Joanne says, actually, I have a lot of stuff. Ribbon embroidery, sculpture, painting, and making natural dyes. Yeah, I've got to work on some ribbon embroidery. I've got a book, and I need to practice some of that. Barbara said, I bought all the stuff years ago for tatting, and so I have the thread for bobbin lace. Need to cut a dowel for bobbins. Carol showed some she carved from wooden dowels, some beaded. Oh, my. Yeah, I'd be doing the clothespin thing of it, but I want to give it a shot. And I think, oh, where's Andrea? That's who's missing, unless you're back there lurking, but I wonder where Andrea is today. I think she's done some needle lace on fabric. I don't know if that is bobbin lace and needle lace. Is that the same thing? Kitty Cat said, if you use AB beads, what are AB beads? You get even more sparkle. Thank you, everybody. I'm really having fun with it, and it's giving me a lot of ideas for where I want to go next with it. No, they're not the same. Okay. So bobbin lace and needle lace are different. All right. I'll have to go do some looking up. Yeah, I bought a book that Nikki Seavey recommended for doing the ribbon embroidery. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to come back in and do some knots around here. Needle lace is a weaving technique. Okay, thank you, Philippa. Well, when you're doing something like a in embroidery, and you're doing like a well, you know, where you shoot. Where is it? These guys. Is that just considered weaving? Is that's not a needle lace, but is that similar to what you would do? AB, Aurora. Oh, okay. So those are like the iridescent ones. Thank you, Gail. Aurora Borealis. A BB is a gun that can put your eyes out. You pull the threads out and weave designs in the holes. Oh, so, but yet that's different than pulled thread work, right? Stump work. Yeah, I've got some things on, okay, needle lace style. Okay. Did I put a bead on there yet? No, I did not. Marjorie said, my daughter thought she would destash some craft boxes that were in the attic. They took them to the same thrift store I volunteer at, and I brought home the stuff she's donating, thinking I made a real find. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. When we were doing so much used book shopping, I always used to be afraid of that. We'd donate things to make room, and I'd be afraid that I'd go back to the store and buy the same things. Oh, that is hysterical. Yeah, I think some of us could relate to doing something like that. All right, see if this is going to work to split. I probably need to move you down a little more, huh? Let's see here. Whoops, not me. Go to this camera. See if that's a little better. Hey, Kathy. Okay, and Sue says, Barbara, I think you're referring to hardanger. Okay, needle lace can be done with, oh gosh, I wish Andrea was here. She's going to be sorry she missed all this. This is all her thing. I'll tell you something I tried and really stink at. I definitely have to practice, and it's such a simple thing to do. But just taking a ring and doing the buttonhole stitch around it. But I definitely was not paying attention when I was doing it, I guess. Barbara says, I don't know what you're referring to, Sue Brown, as far as the hardanger. Might have been referencing somebody else. Yeah, there's so many different kinds, and it's really fun to look at all the possibilities. I mean, I've learned a few new stitches working on the encrusted piece, because I don't have a huge stitch library. And so I'm really looking to expand that and get some videos going that show, now that I feel a little bit more confident about some of them. Okay, I like those sparkly ones better. I also have these little guys. Let's see how they look. These are super, super sparkly. Needle lace can be done without a base. I'm going to have to go looking for that. These are very tiny beads. And on mass like this, they're a little too much. But taking just one and tucking it in here, yeah, I think that's gonna work nice. Hardanger has the pulled threads and satin stitch to form a geometric pattern. Okay. Oh, if anybody else hates satin stitch like I do, one thing I discovered when working on this piece was padded satin stitch. And I like that a whole lot better. Sue said, I think there's an overlap between some techniques. I agree. Hardanger may involve some needle weaving and or needle lace techniques, for example. Yeah, I think there is. There's overlap, and there's things that are called one thing, and just like stitches, the whipped wheel is also called spider web. How you doing today, Sherry? Which is why I have so many embroidery books that describe the different stitches. All right, I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm thinking that this doesn't need a whole lot more knots, except for maybe along the top here. Hardanger is done on an even weave linen. Glad you're doing good today, Sherry. The tiny one's so tiny. You know what? Let's see. Does it work if somebody does really good at, this is like fishing in a barrel. Yeah, that's not me. That somebody would not be me. My head is better today. Thank you, Sue. But I did get up and take a Sudafed. I slept in an hour and a half past my normal getting up time. So I was kind of nervous that I was even going to be functional today. So I made it. Yeah, the dog slept in. And so I thought she had gotten up early, and turns out, no, she didn't. And I just fell back asleep until like 7 or till 9:30 this morning, which, gosh, I don't normally do that unless I'm sick. So I had to take another Sudafed this morning. The wind is just so crazy, blowing all that pollen around out here. And I think it's about time for the acacia trees to start here. And they are my nemesis. Okay, just little bits of color here. Oh, dang, now I want to go do more bullion knots, but not on this piece. This piece is just going to get its beads, and I want to be done. Really, really, really done. And that's what I say, right? Really, really, really done. So does anybody here know where you go to hire a virtual admin? I need to look at hiring somebody to do some grunt work for me, basically copying and pasting a bunch of stuff online. And I realized, I keep putting this project off. It's like, no, I just need to find somebody that I can pay to do some of the work. If somebody here is into that sort of thing, send me a message. I shoulda, woulda, coulda. No, not gonna shit on myself. I'm just going to go back down. So I love that there's so many things that we all want to explore. Something I'm thinking about playing with. I need a teenager. Yeah, I think that's what I need to do is maybe post on my next door and see if there's a teenager that's looking for a side job. Hey, Andrea. Was wondering where you were. We're having all this talk about needle lace and hardanger and stump work and all the stuff that I know that you enjoy. Yeah, so can you guys see any of the sparkle? I don't know if you can see the sparkle. You might not be able to see it until I get it all done and then I put it in the light box to photograph. These are so tiny, but trust me, they are adding sparkle. It's a good thing you're here to watch paint dry, because I know it's not very exciting. And I've been trying to get myself into some kind of a figuring out, videos and a little bit of a plan for my days. So lately, I think there's been the live and 2 videos. I might switch it up to just the 1 video after maybe on Friday, unless I have a super short one. But it's fun to be back working on YouTube again. You guys have been so wonderfully supportive and coming up on 12,000 subscribers, which just kind of blows my mind. Yeah, you would like the conversation, I think, Andrea. And then this morning, I fell down the rabbit hole. I was looking at tuft embroidery, which looks like a really neat alternative to perhaps doing turkey stitch on some stuff, because turkey stitch can be so time consuming. So I'm going to do some experiments with that, I think. I like these little sparkly ones better than I thought I would. Sue says, I haven't been able to watch much YouTube lately. Yeah, sometimes it's just a bit much. And especially if life is crazy or your health is crazy, I tend to go to YouTube now, like Google, to go look up how to do something. Gail says, please remember to give Susan a thumbs up. Thank you. I appreciate that. I wonder where Miss Terry is. I'm going to see if my phone will let me in, if I can send her a message. All right, I sent her a text message to see if we can find her. It is amazing, Barbara. Absolutely amazing. It doesn't feel like we're having intimate conversations with 12,000 people. I know. And of course, I don't get 12,000 views on a video. Yeah, I'm glad there's not 12,000 in a chat too. I would not do well with that. But because of starting to do a little bit more videos, I'm getting more views, which is really nice. Barbara says, I still have that little stitch book that I made when I first started watching you. I need to practice stitches in it. Yeah, and I'm going to start a couple things on some samples, some ideas I have. And maybe that will help some other people get going. All right, let's. Barbie said, I've been using YouTube way too much. It's an idea resource for me, but nothing is new. I need some new people to follow. Yeah, and I've actually been doing more on research for that kind of ideas on Pinterest, Barbie. I'm finding that is giving me more new stuff and more new ideas. I can build boards around my ideas and see where that takes me. And then I can go look things up on YouTube. All right. Barbara says, I've been watching your live stream since you were interviewed by Peg Robinson. It was one of the many gifts she's given me. Ah, thank you. That's so sweet. That was really a fun interview to do. Hey, Carol, we were talking earlier, are your ears burning, about your bobbin lace that you did. Barbara, if you have that link handy for Carol, you could certainly share that with everybody. I tend to watch YouTube, like I said, just to look it up to see how to do something. And Pinterest, I'm on that a lot because it seems to give me more of right now what I need. You know, and we go through cycles, right? We go through cycles where we find somebody new and we're obsessed by everything that person does. Well, very beginner is what I would be. So I'm definitely going to have to go check that out. I found it fascinating. Barbara, good point. Barbie, have you found the PM Artist Studio Makers Collab? Look that up on YouTube for a bunch of innovative artists. Good point. Thank you, Barbara. I hope Terry's okay. I know she's been under the weather. It's funny, since I'm falling in love with beads that have any kind of either the glass that's got a little bit of a shimmer, which you can see a little bit of the shimmer on the glass, or the ones that are lined with something sparkly, or the iridescence. I'm falling less in love with the flat kind of color, and yet they do add something. So Carol says Friday is lesson 2, learning the stitches. I would love to do a video that was kind of a Q&A answering questions, but I don't get asked a lot of questions. I don't know, maybe we should do that in the group. Questions that you might like me to address on a video. Thank you. Barbara posted the link to Carol's beginning. Barbie said, I've been binging on this girl that is doing white on white neutral journals that use lots of antique fabrics. Oh, that sounds beautiful. If you haven't seen Kat, her last name starts with a G and ends in an O. Maybe somebody knows who I'm thinking of. Katerina, yeah, and share her name. But Kat, does somebody know who I mean? Kat, that the Italian gal, does beautiful work. If you haven't seen her and you're into that kind of thing, you might like that vintage stuff that she works on. But yeah, we'd love to know. Nellie Wortman, I know, does a lot of that kind of stuff. Thank you, Barbie. Thank you. Gigliano. Thank you. Hi, Julie. Being a secret squirrel today. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, so who are some of your other favorite YouTubers besides all the wonderful folks that we have here today, of course? Who's somebody that has surprised you lately? I know Sandy loves Dear Julie. Because it does, you know, there's so many of us doing a lot of the same things. To find somebody unique kind of, you know, lifts us all up. Sherry said, been fascinated by Ann Wood and stitches by Julia. One of the things I love to do is watch Arnold's Attic and Fiber Arts Take Two. They both do interviews with artists. And I find a lot of interesting artists that way. They aren't necessarily YouTube channels, but from watching their interviews, I can then go, look at their websites and get inspired that way. Lurkers are fine. Sherry Spear says, Big Mama. Sherry Spear. Carol said, I think you would love doing bobbin lace, making it organic to add to your stitching. Yeah, I was just looking at your stills on your Facebook page, and so I need to go back and watch your live and look at it, but it looked fascinating to me. Going to make me wish I could spin. So yesterday I went out, we have like this local craft group, and people post stuff that they're destashing, for free. And I went out to pick up this felt that this gal was giving me because, I like to use the felt pieces as the backing. And she gave me a bunch of mohair locks. I was thinking of you, Barbie, a huge, huge bag of mohair locks that were fresh from the sheep. So now I have to figure out how to, I got to wash them and prep them before I can do anything with them. But the dog, of course, was fascinated by all the smells. So they're sitting outside in a tub now, and I'm going to have to wash them. Yeah, so the Andrea Canadian Artisan, which is Carol McDonald, she started the beginnings of lessons for beginners on bobbin lace. Lori said, I've made 9 or 10 fabric and or journals. Thank you, Ann Wood. Kathy said, I always thought bobbin lace looked like fun. Maybe someday I'll have time to learn it. Yeah, I'm excited to give it a try if I can use something like clothespins. I don't want to buy anything. I want to use what I have around here. That would be the biggie for me. Carol says, Lori, yes, you sent me down a rabbit hole. Thank you very much. Oh, I forgot I brought tea with me. I even brought my throat tea, which is the perfect temperature. And get my tea bags out of it so I don't spill tea all over my stuff. Oh, Annalise journaling. Yes, she did. I actually have 2 of her journals that I purchased. Beautiful work. They were more of her nature ones. She's in Sweden. Sherry says, I only made one, but I hand stitched the whole process. Oh, wow. Julie said, I need to learn tatting. I promised my aunt 50 years ago that I'd learn to carry on the tradition. Oh, wow. Andrea, have you done tatting? And somebody tell me about tatting. I mean, I know what it is, but I'm not sure what tools you use. Barbara said, Chris Kilu has done Janet Young's scavenger hunt and posted it this week. She made a scroll and wrote a story using all the words. Oh, cute. What a cute idea. Yeah, I've been thinking about how I could maybe go back and use a lot of my writing and mix it with my art. Carol said, Julie, needle tatting I find easier than shuttle. Andrea said, some people tie threads around pegs instead of bobbins if you want to try bobbin lace without buying all the equipment. Oh, well, that's good to know. Hey, Hummer, how are you doing today? Andrea said, I have tried tatting, but prefer the needle technique. Well, I tell you, since I figured out how to do those woven picot things, I was thrilled with that. And I may be doing some more of those with some really big needles and see how they go. And even just weaving Ah, so you showed it in your video, alternatives to bobbins. Thank you. Gonna have to go check out Carol's video. Kathy said, I can do a little needle tatting, but never learn the shuttle. Andrea said the bobbins are for weight and storing links of thread. Oh, okay. Kitty Cat says, do you all use buttons? First I had nothing and suddenly have way too many. Found 2 big jars full at thrift stores. I'm thinking of sorting them all in a way for storage. Yeah. What are your ideas for buttons, people? I actually have a button board that I had started on Pinterest. If you search over there, there's a lot of ideas. I just decided that the button work wasn't something I enjoyed. I've seen rainbows done with them. Oh my goodness, Barbie. She said, my 20-year-old son tats. He taught himself. Wow. Julie said, my aunt used shuttles. I will have to do a YouTube search. Yeah, I find Pinterest is a really good way to get some ideas. Buttons are a great source of addiction. Yep, there's that too. Barbara says, Lori, we should get together. And Barbie says, I don't understand, way too many buttons. Yeah. Sue Brown said, I had a ton of fun sorting through buttons last week, made some clusters secured with buttons. Hey, Marilyn, how are you doing today? Lori said, get familiar with your button stitcher on the sewing machine. Fiona says, buttons, my precious. Yeah, I was going to put a lot of my mother of pearl buttons on this, but I think I want to plan them to start with the next time I do one. Give me a button tin and I'll be hit. Yeah, how many of us spent a lot of our childhood sitting down and sorting mom's or grandma's buttons? Hey, Margaret, good morning to you. How are you doing? Are you still knitting socks or are you doing something else lately? Okay, I'm all thumbs still. Yeah, I knew I had way too many when I could no longer get in the buttons that were not the old ones, just the regular ones in my grandmother's old button tin. Sandy says, oh, if I had the buttons, I won't move. Sort the buttons and maybe drool. Yeah. Yeah, Kitty Cat, you did the same thing, right? You just sit and, yeah, sorted buttons and untangled yarn. There weren't any knitters or crocheters in my family growing up. That's probably why it was never something that I did. Fiona, yeah, I figured you would. And in fact, any of that kind of, I mean, my grandmother functionally sewed for us. She sewed all my clothes. But I wasn't allowed to, really get into any of her stuff. Kitty Cat said, my dad hates buttons. Don't know why, but he can't stand them. Oh, funny. That's funny. I'm looking for buttons and beads that have just a single hole in them. If anybody ever finds a source, I'd like them larger. So I have some, of course, not right here handy, do I? So this is a washer, but I would like to find some beads in colors that have a larger hole in the center. Grandmother's buttons and counting all her yarn. Wish I had her stash now. Oh, wow, Sherry. Barbara said, I just crocheted 2 cat toys, a cat bed, and a cat cave. The cave is going to be taken apart and made into a shawl. Wow. Marilyn said, my friend does art with buttons and sold out at our coffee house. Wow. So there is a need. Oh, Margaret, she says, I'm a bit shaky this morning. Couldn't sleep till 4 a.m. Still knitting, but socks on hold while I practice techniques. Oh, that's right, for the Fair Isle color work. Have made a pair of wrist warmers. Nice. Barbara says, Margaret, I've had one of those nights too. That's just, it's not getting sleep is just exhausting. Lori said, I always have the need to wash any buttons I buy from the thrift stores. Fiona said, if you gave a child a tin of buttons nowadays, they would look for the on button and their mother would probably think it was an act of cruelty. Yeah, funny how times have changed, right? We'll show the wrist warmer on Friday Zoom. Great. Yeah, we Zoom tomorrow afternoon. Those of you that haven't come to one before, it's a lot of fun. And you can certainly still sign up. Okay, I'm having trouble finding the hole on that one. Carol said, must have been all around. I've been up since 2 a.m. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, Barbie. And then be afraid of choking hazards. Yeah, there's that too. Michelle said, I would like to try slow stitch earrings. Oh, I just started looking at some stuff like that. Jewelry, slow stitch jewelry. Well, you can tell if you just kind of flip through the buttons and you look at your hands, you can see, you know, all the stuff. Lori says, I don't know why my 7-year-old granddaughter loves to sort and organize. Oh, wow. I didn't. I was such a messy, slobby kid, which is probably why I still am comfortable in clutter, artsy clutter all around. Yeah, I certainly didn't expect to sleep in, though, till 9:30 this morning. That just really threw me for a loop. Andrea said you can buy button molds with one hole. These are blanks to decorate with thread. Yeah, and that's fine if I want to cover the whole thing with thread, but I was looking at some different stitched work, and they had beautiful buttons. I think it might have been Sharon Brogan. Beautiful buttons that look like washers. And they had just a single button, single hole, but they were colors, so you didn't have to cover the whole thing. It was just an interesting little thing. Barbie said, raise your hand if you purchased something at a thrift store just to harvest the buttons. Oh, yeah. I did that before I realized that I didn't use buttons that much. And then I did the same thing with lace. I would buy clothes at the thrift store because I wanted the lace that was on it. And I ended up with so much colored lace. Kitty Cat said, I'm still messy, slobby, 43-year-old kid. You should see my desk. Yep. Yeah, Fiona says, yes, Barbie. I thought everyone did that. Yep. June says, I bought something at a thrift store for the fabric. Does that count? Oh, yeah. Done that too. Some of my favorite pieces are, and in fact, some of my favorite material are the undercoatings that would be in sheer fabric, you know, like a sheer blouse or a sheer skirt. And then they would have this really thin material that just shreds really nicely. I'm almost getting a hankering to go thrifting again, but I don't need anything. So that's the trouble, is then I would bring stuff home and it's not like I need anything. Margaret said, most of my myriad of buttons came from taking them off garments that were being repurposed. Yep. Okay, this is subtle sparkle, and I'm okay with that. I like the subtle sparkle. And I like these little guys more than I thought I would. You know, so many times when it's something that looks like it's overwhelming, you know, all massed together, it's kind of surprises me when you separate them out. Sue says, yeah, what is it about retail therapy? Why does it work? That is a great question. Anybody have any theories? Why does it work? I mean, I can get nervous about something and then I immediately head to Etsy to shop for more fibers when, of course, I don't need any fibers. I've got so many fibers. And it just helps my stress level. at least until all the, the credit card bill comes in. But, thank you, Margaret. This, I wish that this would show a better color because it really is more of a green blue, but I was trying to lean into the red on this to experiment with tones of red. I really think there's going to be a lot of my work going forward. That's the abstract work is going to be tones, just getting the different tones of colors. Philippa says, I've stopped going to charity shops for the same reason. Yeah, when we don't need, and then we buy something because we think, oh, we're never going to see it again, and we won't. But, if we wait until we actually, need something, we'll probably find something we like even better. Sherry said, retail therapy works because it keeps us thinking about what we will make with it. Maybe. Michelle's been watching a lot of thrifting videos just for the fun. We are all crows looking for shiny objects. Yeah, I like that. And I think as makers, though, I think looking at something like thrift shops, it's just something that comes naturally to us because it's not like going to the fabric store and looking at all the fabric all in the bolts and you think, okay, I can make a quilt from this, but it's a different retail therapy. I think when you go, I mean, that's a great retail therapy too. But when you go to a thrift store, your imagination really gets invested in finding something that you can, turn into something else, at least for me. Sue Brown said, I watch the thrifting videos and then get jealous about the treasures they've found. Yeah, some people really find some great stuff. We know our thrift shops around here aren't that terrific. I have a friend that's going to be taking, she could be lurking for all I know, a trip to France. She's going to get to go to the Paris flea market and shop for artsy stuff there. And she's taking art classes there and things. Barbara says, Marilyn, that made me laugh. I love identifying with the crows looking for shiny objects. Margaret said, after the awful floods a year ago, all our thrift stores closed and none have opened up again. So that's not an option for me at the moment. Probably a good thing. Yeah. And I used to shop eBay a lot. Now it's mostly Etsy. And I can't resist the fibers. Kitty Cat says, I'm still a beginner and found so many clothing at thrift stores. Nice fabrics for little money. Yeah, I loved building my fabric stash for that. Although if I was building a fabric stash now, I would build it differently. Hey, Angie. Swallowed wrong. How are you doing today? I loved your soul collage cards. Yeah, the French flea market. So won't that be amazing? I can't wait to see what she comes back with. She's a big paper lover, so I know she's going to have fun. Michelle says, I like old fabrics. Yeah, and if I was doing it again, I would, if I was, starting a stash building, thing from scratch, which is kind of where I started with the thrift shops, I would be looking for more open weaved fabrics, wool and linen, and fibers and certain lace. But I have a lot of this thin, cotton sheeting stuff, and I just need to figure out how I'm going to use it differently or be willing to let it go. I mean, that's something that's really hard, to let something go. Do you feel obligated to use everything? Like I have a bunch of painted fabric. I think I'm going to have to just make a painted fabric grab bag or two and let it go, because I would rather build it differently now on different material. And because I was doing it for journals and I'm really not making that many journals anymore, so it would be a different use of fabric, different fabric that I want to stitch in. She just posted today, Barbie, in the Facebook group. I don't know, did you do it on your Angie, did you do it on your video as well, or is it just in Facebook? Kitty Cat said, the first time I also bought child's clothes for fabric, and I ain't doing that anymore. Way too much work cutting it apart in too many small pieces. Yeah. Unless there was like a pattern or a fabric that you really liked. But I did build a lot of unusual fabrics. I'm just so cheap when I go to the thrift stores. Mala, collecting, not hoarding. Yes. And welcome to you if you've been lurking. I'm just so cheap. And really what I should do when I go back to a thrift store is looking for some of the more expensive fabrics and be willing, you know, to spend the money, you know, for those, because it's still going to be cheaper than going to the fabric store. I did buy a lot of colored organza from Esme at her Crafty Me shop about a year or so ago. So I probably don't even need any of that. But June says, I have a gold ribbon and trim addiction. The Venice trims ones. I have to self-moderate. Mala Isti. I don't know what, I can't do that. I'm really bad at the cutesy names like that, but welcome. We are happy to have you join us. What kind of stuff do you enjoy doing? So what is, okay, so June said she's got a gold ribbon and trim addiction. What are some of your other addictions that people have? I mean, mine, I just said fibers. It's bad. I cannot resist if it's something that I can try and put a needle through. Okay, so Angie did make a soul collage card video and showed how I made them and explained what soul collage is. Nice. And I might have a little bit of a bead addiction. I really, if I had room for more beads, I would probably buy more beads. And nothing right now. You're living vicariously. That's great. Yeah, it should be over on our YouTube channel. I found an app the other day that somebody was recommending to track your time on a project. And I thought, I don't think I want to know how much time I spend on some of these. I probably should do it, but I don't know that I want to know. Kitty Cat said felt, wool, beads, buttons, and cats. Barbie's is paper and ephemera. I know, don't we have awesome mods? Too many addictions to name. Well, mine used to be just books, so at least the stuff I'm doing now doesn't take up quite as much room. Let's see. What happens if I put 3 of these sparkly ones in here? Well, the one habit that I'm glad that I think I finally broke is watching a video and then immediately going out and buying all the stuff that was shared in the video. Oh, thank you, Barbara. She's got Angie's link up to her soul collage video. I think a lot of you paper lovers would enjoy that. It's okay, Gail. We know that you're having a hard day, and I don't know what's up with Gail, or with Terry, but I think she must be having a hard day too. You know, we appreciate it when you're able to do things, and the fact that you're here, maybe this is helping distracting you a little bit from your pain. Don't worry about it. Barbara says, I have so many soul collage cards. I don't know what to do with them. Do you make a case for your soul collage? Those of you that do it, do you make a little, I don't know, something to store them in? Where do I want to go with this next? Oh, come over here. I'm not paying any attention. It does help distract. Yeah. Yeah, just, Michelle said, I was thinking you can take a stick, wrap fabric and wire, and then hang some charms from it. Michelle, that's kind of the direction I was thinking. And I was going to pull stuff out today, and I thought, nope, I'm not going to do that today. But yeah, kind of, just like a little talisman kind of thing to play with. So there's just so many charms. Definitely going to go through those. Bye-bye, Marilyn. Kitty Cat said, I'm doomed. My mom is sending me a package with fabric, threads, all kinds of stuff, but also 2 books about embroidery stitches. You're going to have fun. And you kind of have to gather all the things until you figure out what you do and don't like. Like the other thing I have to do a bunch of is using up sari ribbon. I don't use a lot of it, and I have so much of it from journal making. So I need to figure out, I think, probably some jewelry. Barbara said, I have the soul collage cards in one of those nice photo boxes. A bunch fit in there and it's just the right size. I also have another little case acquired from another artist, and some older ones live there. Okay. Bye, Carol. Thanks for joining us. And we'll be over to watch your bobbin lace tutorial. Angie says, I like to do daily readings with my soul collage cards. All right, we'll do one more here. Oh, Sudafed is wearing off, it feels like. Wow. I am not going to go out in the wind. I can say that for sure. So go look at the link that Barbara posted to Angie's video. You might enjoy it, Barbie. Sherry says, my passion is finding things I can do that don't hurt my hands much if I can. Oh, anybody have any suggestions? What are things that they enjoy doing that don't hurt the hands so much? What about weaving? All right. So it's a lot of work, but it is getting, it has to be at a certain angle. I don't know, just a little bit. I'm doing better on not having painful hands. There's, you can see a little bit more here. As I'm taking breaks, I'm finding that that really makes a difference for me. So like after, is it like taro? No. Barbara, do you have a set explanation, or Angie, either one of you, about explaining what soul collage is? I mean, you're making your personal cards, and I don't know enough about it to speak to it. Yeah, it is hard, Sherry. Yeah, that's kind of what I was looking at, Michelle, some beads. I thought, getting some straws and wrapping the sari around the straws and adding glue, and then I could add some charms. Yeah, because I have way too much sari ribbon to use, in all my stuff right now, which is fine. I mean, it's a nice problem to have. Let's get a big glass one down here. These beads are so weird because they're teardrop, which I can't really show you. So I have to really be careful where I'm poking the needle. The hole is not in the center. So I'm sure they would hang much differently if I was making jewelry. I saw some really neat using the memory wire, and then they wrapped it like with sari ribbon and copper wire, and then added some beads and charms and made some wrist wraps, which I really like the idea of doing that too. Hey, June, thanks for hanging with us. Take care. Have a great week. So Barbara says, soul collage is a practice started by Sina Frost to select a few images, collage them onto a 5x8 card, and then ask some specific questions of the card. Sari ribbon is ribbon like this. I don't have any other colors. That is silk that is cut from leftover trims from making saris. Hey, Mal, she said, I totally lost track of time today. Margaret says, that's one of the things I do, making fabric beads around straws and add wire and beads and threads. Okay. And so this one has been colored Oh, just got a splinter from my desk. That's not good. And they come in all kinds of colors, and it's silk, and it frays wonderfully. Sherry said, I enjoy knitting and crochet, but it's hard on my hands. You're right, Margaret. It's a lot of the art I can do hurts my hands. Wish I had better tools, but so expensive. Yeah. Barbara says the soul collage questions start with, who are you? What do you have to tell me? And then you answer, I am the one who, and answer as much as you need to. You're wanting what the card says. So you might enjoy taking a look at Angie's video that talks about it more. Maybe that's what I should do, is I should sit and do a bead day, because then I'll see what charms I want to use up on them. Might be a good plan. Let's see. Yeah, and because it's paper and glue collage, Sherry, it might not be too hard on you. You can do it in steps. Wow, and all of a sudden time just went zipping by. Goodness. Margaret said, Sherry, do you knit with straight needles or circulars? I found that circulars are easier on my hands. Oh, that's interesting. Barbara said, the cards always surprise me, often done in groups. If you share your card with another person, you might see different meanings in it. Nice. Angie said, for me, soul collage cards help you understand who you really are, your dreams, what you like and don't like, help you to resolve problems. You will discover so much about yourself. Sherry said both, Margaret, and I agree with you there. Lori says, I like the circulars too. Wow, all of a sudden the time just went zipping by. I had no idea. Oh, that kind of works. All right, I'm liking the clusters of these little sparkly guys. Sherry said, thank you, Barbara. You can PM me anytime. Should probably find one here before we go off. So I don't know. I might just do the beads on this and then consider this one done. Fiona, you got to go clean. That's right. Don't you have somebody, you have company coming, right? Or did they already come? Have a good evening. Margaret said, I use circulars for everything. Just use short or long cables depending on who I'm knitting. Barbara said, Sherry, when you have about an hour, search on YouTube for soul collage process. I just found a bunch that looked inviting. There you go, Sherry. And bonus, looking at the videos will not hurt your hands. She said she'd PM you. All right, and as I'm getting to the end here, another reminder that I am Zooming tomorrow, 4 p.m. California time. If you want to participate and you haven't already, let's see if I still have the link in. I should have the link still here. There's the link to sign up. And then it will be February before we do it again. All right, I think I'm going to do some beads. I'm kind of getting excited about the idea of playing with some beads. Use up my sari ribbon, use up some charms. Yeah, thumbs up before you leave, everyone. Thanks for that reminder, Sue. I'm looking forward to the Zoom too, Andrea. If you do come Zoom with us, we love to see what people are working on. It's a great way to share your work and get some feedback. Yeah, I think as I go forward, when it comes time to replace some of my beads, I'm going to make sure I buy 2 packages instead of 1. I know the links are really good ones today, some really juicy ones. Vicki said, thank you for the links. That's it. Fiona said her sister's visiting. What is this piece going to be when it grows up? Asked Mahala. It's going to be a vessel. So it's kind of hard to see on here, but if you roll up a piece of felt into a cylinder tube, it makes a great vessel. Andrea's going to be there tomorrow. Vicky's going to be there tomorrow. Terry should be there tomorrow. Sandy might be there tomorrow. Angela, Chronic Crafter, some of you guys might know her. She's planning on being there. That'll be a first time. Barbara's like, you journal with each card and answer those questions and find all sorts of insights. Okay, and Barbara posted a bunch of questions which have already disappeared off my screen, and I'm not going back there right now. Boy, anybody have any tips on the little tiny beads and how to get them easily on your needle? It just seems to be like hit and miss for me. Maybe it's just because I'm old and I have old eyes. I want some more sparkle here. Let's do a big glass one. You can't figure out the times differences. Okay. So Margaret is in Australia, and I don't know how that goes to you in New Zealand, Andrea, and Philippa, and Andrea's in the UK. Can you map your time to either one of them, Philippa? Lisa, you can join the Zoom. It's $10. And it's just, I don't talk about it in a lot of other places on social media because I try to keep it safe for us. So you are more than welcome to come join us. So Margaret, what time is the Zoom tomorrow for you? Oh, it's midnight in the UK. Yeah, bless Andrea's heart. And then what time is the 11 one? Use a time converter online. Yeah. Well, for those of us in the Australia, Zoom is in at 11. Does that help, Philippa? So tomorrow, Philippa, tomorrow the Zoom will be Friday in Australia for Margaret at 11 a.m. Does that help? And Lisa, here's the link to go. Yeah, 11 a.m. Friday. Yeah. The Zoom is just a chance to, where we can be face to face. Like, instead of you guys just looking at me, it takes our friendship just to one more level. You can share your stuff. It's a safe place, which is why I don't promote it all over social media. It's like if you've come to the live streams or you're in the Facebook group, I announce it there. But I try not to make it 11 a.m. No, Pacific time. I'm in California. So if you're, I don't know where you're located, Lisa, but 11 a.m. Pacific time, if you do any of the converters. And Sue, you're going to be there tomorrow, right? Sue Brown, if you're feeling up to it. So we should have a nice full house. And it's just a nice way to extend our relationship building. You're in Connecticut. So yeah, so it'll be 3 hours later for you. So 11, 12, 1. It'll be 2 p.m. for you. Margaret is asking you, Philippa, how far ahead of Australia are you in New Zealand? Yeah, 4 p.m. tomorrow. You're right. But it's 11 a.m. for Margaret in Australia, and it's midnight for Andrea in the UK. Oh, wow, Angie. She said, yesterday I had a hummingbird visit me, and after that I went to make my way to Soul Collage Cards, and the first image I ran into was a hummingbird. And those of you that sign up, I'll be sending out the link to it a little later today. But yeah, it'll be 4 p.m. my time, Pacific time. Yeah, midnight. Where are you, Kitty Cat? I can't remember. Are you in the UK too? I know. I don't know how Andrea stays up, except I think she drinks a lot of coffee that day. Oh, you're in the Netherlands. Oh, wow. So Australia and New Zealand are always tomorrow. So Thursdays, the Thursday Zooms then are for the Australia and New Zealand folks. So Kitty Cat, then you might like in February when I do the morning one, when I do the 11 a.m. one. Andrea, it sounds like you're in the same time thing. So I'm 2 hours ahead of Oz. So Andrea, the 11 a.m. one, what time is that for you? It's really a nice way just to get to know people at a different level. And like I said, keep it safe. And it just, I think it just adds another, hey, Philippa, how about, here's what I'll do. When it's the time that it'll be tomorrow, I will send you a message on Facebook and then we can sync up our clocks that way. And maybe that will help. And then I will also send you the time zone converter that I use. The other Zoom is 7 p.m. for you. Okay, so the morning one might work better for you, Kitty Cat. Yeah, Philippa, I'll send you a message on Facebook or email you or both at 4 p.m. my time today, and that way we can see where it lands for you. And don't worry, I mean, our times aren't changing right now for months, so we can stick with where we are. Yeah, it's okay, Philippa. I would certainly love to have you join us. So I will definitely send you a message. I don't have to go anywhere today. So whoops, I just spread a bunch of these tiny beads places that I didn't need them. Let's see, one more. Okay. And then Kitty Cat, I can send you a message, or what I'll do, I'll post a message. Yeah. We can help you figure out too. But if you look at any time zone converter and just put in, I'm the same time zone as Los Angeles, which is always the easiest thing for people to remember. So whatever time it is in Los Angeles, that's the same time it is for me. Okay, I think this is going to do it for me. I'm just about out of thread. You might have to brush your hair. Yeah, it's okay. No judgments here. It's just so nice to gather and put faces. And what's really fun is once you've gone to the Zoom, then the next time you see that person online and you see their name. Bye, Mala. Thank you so much. Glad I'm here every Wednesday at noon California time. But once you see their name then online again, suddenly you're thinking, oh, yeah, I remember I met them, in the Zoom, and you hear their voice and you see their face. And it's just so much fun. Okay. Whoops. There's one of the ones that I think that's a good stopping point for me. So I got some sparkles happening. You can see a little bit of it. I got more done than you can actually see on here, but it's starting to sparkle, and I will keep adding to it. All right, everybody. So 9 hours later in the Netherlands. Okay. I will see some of you in Zoom tomorrow. I'll see you guys in the Facebook group. I will see you on YouTube. I will see you on Instagram. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it. And I hope you all have a wonderful week. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks if you come back later and leave a comment. Let's YouTube know that maybe they should push my videos a little more. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.